I am sure sports. You know me there, I'm coast to coast representing. I mean, I say this is righteous representing for Omar. You don't know, come get the sports over here from near and far. Boy. Me say I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that me not say it. Know who score, that me not say it. Never know no game play, that me not say it. If me never see no game, me no know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here so. For the day done, you are gonna love over here so.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crap of players. We are good enough. Remember, like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment, let me know what your thoughts are.
Trick-Nick Jerk Marinade gives your meats and vegetables authentic Jamaican jerk flavor. The spices are directly from Jamaica. Spices like jerk seasoning, allspice, scotch bonnet pepper, fresh scallions, thyme, ginger, and garlic. The key ingredients to a great jerk marinade. 0% sugar and low in sodium. You want to try it?
Made up of 18 Jamaican herbs and spices. Add delicious, bold flavor to your next grilling experience. Flavoring sauce, a marinade, basting, condiment, or topping. Trick-Nick Jerk Barbecue Sauce.
Hello. Good afternoon. Or is it morning? Good morning. Good a little before afternoon. Good morning. My name is Pioneer, and this is I Am Sure Sports, and we are here for another in our series around the NBA. Interesting happenings. Things happening in the NBA playoffs, people, and we are here to discuss it. And I have a few friends with me here today. I have some of the regular suspects. And today I'll be applying a little bit of beating to some of my friends, I must say. We have the man, Kems.
Yes, sir.
We also have my brethren, G-Star.
Yes, greetings.
And we're expecting to have a preacher. And we're also expecting to have the man, Christian, joining us in a little while. We're going to be doing something for the first time today, people. We're going to be opening the lines later on the show, and we're going to be taking a few phone calls. All right, so for those who want to chime in and be a part of the discussions, we were always entertaining the comments in the comment section. Today, you can actually call in and be a part of the show live. All right, so, gentlemen, I can't remember. Well, I've experienced a lot of NBA playoffs, but this NBA playoff, I can't remember in recent years playoff being so intriguing and being so exciting and being so dramatic. We're going to start with, and we're going to go through the thing series by series. We're going to go through the Eastern Conference first, and then we're going to come back to the West. All right. G-Star, we'll start out East. We're going to start with the 1-8 matchup out East. We're going to start with Miami Heat versus the Atlanta Hawks. That series as it stands is at 2-0. Miami leads that series 2-0. Give me your take on what is happening and how you see that series. The series moves tonight to Atlanta G-Star. Tell me how you see the games in that series that has been played so far, how you see the rest of the series going.
Honestly, I think is that a sweep or a gentleman sweep? I'm thinking more than likely a gentleman sweep for Miami. I think the loss of Clint Capella for the Atlanta Hawks is pretty significant. Just depth-wise, and they need all of their players. They got back John Collins though, which is decent. Trey Young is struggling right now. The Miami Heat have a good defense. They're well coached, so I foresee Miami pretty easily going to the next round. I just don't think Atlanta right now they have enough, right? And then if they really want to make a series of it, Trey Young is going to have to play out of his mind. And so far, Trey Young has been the opposite. He's actually played bad, right? So.
All right. For the record, though, G-Star, let it be known that you had selected Atlanta to win this series, right?
No. I switched it up. Remember last week I switched it up.
Okay.
Yeah, man. I made sure to say without a healthy John Collins and the cohesion of Atlanta like what they had last year. Nah. I picked. It was an easy series for Miami actually. I picked.
All right. Before we get to the 2-7 matchup, we want to welcome all of the brethren and all of the viewers in the stream. We want to welcome Pagan 180 with us as usual, with us early today. We want to welcome Demo Dre 9. Welcome forward. And as usual, we have a brethren Outer East with us. Outer East is asking me, how is the Pelican looking? Outer East, the Pelicans are surprising. They are turning a few heads. But we'll get to that. Very, very interesting playoffs, as I'm going to say. A few surprises. A few teams that we were expecting to be reckoning, getting whooped. And a few teams that we were expecting to be swept, turning a few heads. We want to welcome Preacher to the stream. Welcome forward, Preacher. Always good to have you, my brethren.
Respect. Big up G-Star.
Preacher, we're just sliding through the series one by one. So we're starting out east, and we were looking at the 1-8 matchup, Miami Atlanta. That series, as you know, is at 2. Is at 2 in favor of Miami. Tell me, you see that series, the 2 games that have been played so far, Preacher, and how do you see the series going forward?
Yeah, I think the Hawks are just too small up front. They don't have the size to compete with what the Heat have to offer. We know they have good guard play, even though Trey Young has not necessarily been his best self over the 2 games. But I think Miami are beating them on the boards. Miami are beating them in terms of points in the paint. That's where they're actually losing the series. I think the Hawks will win a game at home. I see the series going 4 games to 1 in favor of Miami.
All right. I tend to agree with you, Preacher. I see either a sweep or I think Atlanta is good enough to win a game at home, backed by that vociferous crowd that they normally have. I think that will kind of push them to winning a game. And Trey Young going off. I don't think he'll be kept under wraps. Well, last game he got some points, but first game he was totally shut out. I see him having a big game and then probably getting a 1 game. Kems.
Yes, sir.
Welcome forward again, my brethren. Good to have you. I have a few beating for you both you and G-Star, but I'll leave that. I'll have belt soaking right now, so I'll leave that till later. Right? All right, yes, but Kems, we're looking at the series. We're sliding through the series one by one. We're out east right now. We're looking at the 1-8 matchup, Miami versus Atlanta. 2-0 up, Miami. How you see the 2 games that has been played so far, and tell me quickly how you see the series going. Rest of the series.
All right. So the 2 games that have been played so far, obviously I expected Miami to dominate. They dominated the first game, quite handedly. The second game, Atlanta, obviously, you're an NBA team, a team full of professionals, so you're going to try and put up a fight. But I just think Miami is just a team that is way better than Atlanta right now. Obviously, Capella is out. Collins came back, but obviously he's not the same Collins that we are used to. And it's really just Trae Young, Bogdanovich, and they're just really trying. But I think Miami, being the best 3-point shooting team in the league, being the best bench team in the league, I just think that team is way, way, way too deep for Atlanta. You are giving Atlanta one game. I was thinking of giving them one game until the series starts, and I'm like, no, it's going to be a sweep. Miami know that they have Philly coming up next. They want to wrap up this series as soon as possible so they can get as much rest, because that series against Philly is going to be a double. But I think it's going to be a 4-0 sweep for Miami.
All right, James. I want to say, for those who are in the stream, I ask if you like the video. And for those who haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. We have the best and most credible sports analysis at I Am Sure Sports. Also, share the link. All right, we want to welcome Gunners Boss to the stream. Gunners Boss is saying that Miami not giving away nothing. He's going for the sweep. All right, welcome forward, Gunners Boss. As I said before, I think Miami is going to make light work of the Atlanta Hawks. They're probably good enough to get a game at home, but I think this one won't go past 5. All right, the 2-7 matchup, which is the one that has the world talking. I said it. I said Boston is going to beat the Nets. All right, a lot of persons didn't agree. Boston, as it stands, 2-0 up in the series. I'm going to start with you, G-Star, being the biggest Nets fan here. How do you see that? How do you see the 2 games that have been played so far? And how do you see the series going? Before you come in, G-Star, I want to welcome Chris Lynch to the stream. We have a full house to the people. The whole gang is here. Welcome forward, Chris Lynch. G-Star.
Yeah, man. Good afternoon, everybody.
Yeah.
Is Boston Celtics versus the Brooklyn Nets for Bertrand?
Yeah. Well, for the Raptors and the Nets, the last team I wanted to see was the Boston Celtics. Still, and then last week, I told you already, Pioneer. I was telling the man them that KD has been getting away with a lot in the regular season. He's been loose with the ball, and his level of physicality has been lacking. But not just his physicality, his level of leadership has been lacking. Why? You can point to one simple play in the Milwaukee game about 10, 15 games ago. They're up by 9. He didn't box out Wesley Matthews when he's on the free throw line. Kevin Durant is 7 foot tall. If you cannot box out Wesley Matthews, how do you expect to beat the Milwaukee Bucks? So moving forward, we've seen the New Jersey Nets, the Brooklyn Nets give up several rebounds off of the free throw. We see that Kevin Durant, I'm not even talking about his game yet, is getting pushed underneath the basket on free throws and not even fighting back. So that's hard. That don't have nothing else to do with the heart, And when the leader is not showing that kind of heart, it permeates throughout the team, right? This ain't on Kyrie none at all. Kyrie is a hit and miss player, right? So bring it to the actual game now. With the Boston Celtics, Jason Tatum is giving away nothing. And guess what? Jason Tatum, he was KD's understudy in the Olympics. So Jason Tatum wants to be the best player in the NBA. Ime Udoka, he's doing a good job in terms of buckling up KD at his points. But at the end of the day, it really comes down to KD and Steve Nash. KD is dribbling, taking about 10, 15 dribbles, and the man them are taking away his ball like he's a 6th grader, right? How many times are we going to see that?
So all of that said, G-Star, and the Nets are your team. You pick the Nets to go all the way. So they're down 2-2 right now. How do you see the rest of the series going? Do you see the Nets coming back in the series, G-Star? Or do you see this? Do you see a sweep? Do you see them winning?
It looks bleak. It looks bleak. And it's not because...
Based on what you have seen so far, going forward, give me your predictions from here on in. We know what your predictions were last week. Tell me how.
Because I'm
based on what
biased.
you
No,
have seen.
because no. I need to give full disclosure. I'm
No,
biased.
man. Yeah, but in the interest of time, G-Star, because we have 5 of us on the panel today, plus we have people in the stream, plus we're going to be taking some calls. In the interest of time, you had picked the Nets to win the series based on what you have seen from the first 2 games and your analysis.
I'm still going to pick the Nets. That's hope, though. I'm telling you, that's hope.
All right, so you're hopeful picking the Nets in what? In 6, in 7?
That's not what I see. That's not what I see. That's just hope talking.
All right, so you're picking the Nets in 7?
Yeah.
All right. Well, welcome Mr. War to the stream. Mr. War said Nets going to pull back 2. They'll need to win 4. Mr. War, I don't know. They pull back 2 at home and then probably have a series. Let's see. Tomorrow we'll say a lot for game 3. Chris Lynch, tell me what you say. Since we passed the Miami thing, we'll start with you on the Net Celtic series. What was your pick again, Chris? Tell me who you had chosen the series.
Nets.
You had chosen the Nets. Tell me, based on what you have seen so far, do you stick by that pick? Are you changing your pick? Give me an analysis of the first 2 games and tell me where you see the rest of the series going.
Yeah, if anyone would have thought that the game would have gone down to the wire, both games basically, and Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving need to close out and give his team a chance to win a game, then we would have picked the Nets over the Boston Celtics. And I think that's what happened in 2 games. They were up by 17 in the last game, somehow find themselves losing that game. I just don't understand how that take place in a game with 2 experienced players of the caliber of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. It's disappointing. I think the Nets win the first game. The Nets win the first game, they would have been 2-0 up in this series. They would have been even more confident. But that's not the case. Boston must be credited. Jason Tatum play good defense, good offense. Defensive player of the year, reigning defensive player of the year. They get up into KD like G-Star pointed out.
Yeah.
Cannot dribble the ball, basically dribbling too much. And I think it must be credited to the coach because they know what they are doing. They keep having KD doing this, and it's working because he's shooting poorly. If I'm remembering good, from the first game, KD 9 from 24 field goal percent. From that's basically his field goal. He shoot 9 for 24, and then the second game was 4 of 17. So very horrible for the standard of Kevin Durant, and all blames must be placed on his shoulders for these 2 losses. But Boston Nets must be thinking that they were well in those 2 games and could have won them. But Boston, on the other hand, they are confident now, and I just don't know what to think. But I still have to ride with the Nets because we'd have seen where teams went down 2-0 in the past a lot, and they cover their home spread, and then when they go back home, when the team go back home, they cover their spread. So that's the only hope. But like G-Star said, it's not. I don't think it's an open because the Nets show that they can beat the Boston team. It's not like it's 2 blown out games and the Nets don't show the capability of winning, beating Boston. So that's it for me.
You're thinking going back home, they should have some level of confidence knowing that they're going home.
Yeah, because that's how it normally happens to do a Pioneer. The players did play good. That they normally say the role players play good at home, but they did play good away. So that's a good sign to see that they're probably going to get better at home, hopefully.
Pagan 180 saying Ben Simmons will play in game 3. I think based on the last thing I saw, they said he'll play in game 4 on Monday. Can't see a man being out for a year and what 2 days difference would make whether I play game 3 or game 4. But I think the reports are stating that he will play game 4 on Monday.
Yeah, that's what I saw as well.
For me, I doubt that. Let's see how it pans out. Preacher, give me your analysis on the first 2 games and tell me how you see the rest of the series going, Bridget.
I mean, we're talking about 8 points, an 8-point differential between the Boston Celtics and the Nets over 2 games. 1 point deciding game 1, 7 points deciding game 2. Game 2, The Nets were up by 17 points. For me personally, I think my issue outside of the poor performance, obviously, of KD and Kyrie's no-show in Game 2 is the fact that Steve Nash is out of his depths as a head coach. The reality of the situation is in playoff basketball, it's about adjustments. It's about recognizing what the other team is trying to do and not allowing them to do what they do well. The Boston Celtics have recognized that the Nets are playing iso ball. It's KD, it's Kyrie, iso ball. And what they've done is that they've allowed their defensive setup to create the double teams at the top, which gives you less room in terms of creating the extra pass, and be very physical with KD. So even if he scores, he has to work very hard for it. We're not seeing the same thing being done to Jason Tatum. We're not seeing the same thing being done to Jaylen Brown. They can get any shot they want at any time that they want. Steve Nash has the likes of LaMarcus Aldridge and
Blake Griffin.
Blake Griffin on the bench. And I know Kems is going to tell me that these guys are slow and they can't play defense. The reality is, when you have veteran players in your team, when you have size in your team, you have to find a way to use it in a playoff series to your advantage. Steve Nash has not been doing that. Now let's go to the direct play of the superstars. It is quite obvious to me that you won't have a situation where Kevin Durant over a 7-game series, now a 5-game series, is going to play this badly. Kevin Durant is going to play better. The question mark really is whether or not Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant can both play consistently well at the same time. To beat this Boston team, both of them are going to have to play well at the same time. And so I'm giving them a shot. I picked the Nets. I'm giving them a shot to tie up the series. It's highly contingent on what Steve Nash does in terms of his adjustments, but I think we're going to see a better Kevin Durant, and we're going to see improvement from the role players, as Chrislyn said, but I'm not seeing them winning the series if Steve Nash doesn't incorporate some of the players that I mentioned. They can tie up the series, but I don't see them winning it.
All right, Kems, I know you're rearing to go on this one.
Yes,
Boston Celtics versus the Brooklyn Nets, Kems. What was your pick, by the way, Kems? Last week when you picked the Boston Celtics.
in 5.
I think you and I went for the Celtics. I think I said in 7, you said in 5. Your prediction is looking good. I answer something here. Pagan Wanting It is asking, do you subscribe to the idea that a series doesn't start until you win on your opponent's home court? That is true in some aspects, but like for example, and we're gonna get there later on. In the Golden State Nuggets series, after the first 2 games, you could almost see that series is over. So, in spite of Golden State winning their 2 games at home, based on the happenings, you can basically feel or see where the series is gonna go. So that Pagan 180, that stands true. You know, you have to contextualize that. You know, in some series, yes, it is true, but in others, you can see that one team is being outplayed. Kems, give me on the series, my virgin, and how you see it going.
All right, so we don't have enough time. I don't have enough time to attack everybody's comments that they made. But obviously, G-Star made some ludicrous comments. It's quite funny how G-Star come now and talk about the Milwaukee Bucks and Wesley Matthews and all of that. But when he was giving his predictions, none of that was in play. He was saying that the Nets is going to totally run away with it.
Time out.
Hold on, G-Star. I'll give you a chance. Let's give it.
No, but hold on, but I actually did say that though. But go ahead.
G-Star, when you talk, I'm going to interrupt your boss. When I interrupt your boss, when you talk, boss, when I interrupt you, give me a chance to talk. But wait my turn. Give me a chance to talk, please. Listen. So now, this is my thing, Pioneer. I don't think all 2 zeros are created equal. And this 2-0 just feels different than a regular 2-0. I just believe that the Boston Celtics, and G-Star said, oh, you can't blame Kyrie. In game 2, I see Marcus Smart lock up Kyrie. When I say lock up, I see him lock him up. And listen, Kevin Durant, I see him, he's chasing shadows. He's turning over the ball. The guy is great. As Preacher said, he's going to come back. He's going to play excellent basketball. He's a great basketball player. But right now, I think I see a Boston Celtics team beating Brooklyn Nets individuals. That is what I'm seeing. Listen, and you talk about Ben Simmons in a Pioneer, but let us not only mention Robert Williams supposed to come back for game 3 as well. And should Robert Williams come back, the defense get even a little bit more stingy. Now, Chris Lynch mentioned about role players. How much better can you get from a Goran Dragic scoring 16 first half points? One name, I think Bruce Brown him name.
Bruce Brown.
Him scoring 14 first half points.
In
How
game
much
one.
better do you expect those role players to play at home? Are you going to tell me Dragic is going to give you 25?
No, but
Bruce Brown is
Chris
going
Lynch
to-
was actually crediting the role players. You know?
Oh, but I think someone said they're going to play better at home. So I'm saying,
Well,
how much better
No,
can
the
they
point,
play?
the point that was being made, Kems, was the role players usually play better.
Yeah, better at home.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
you might,
So when-
for the rest of the cast, you might get, because even though you mentioned Bruce Brown and one person was good in game 1, the other was good in game 2, but
No,
collectively,
both of them were good. Both Dragic and Bruce Brown were good in game 2. Both of them at the same
Bruce
time.
Brown was better in game 1. He actually started the scoring in game 1.
Game 2 he started scoring, man. Game 2. Game 2 he
He
scored
scored 5
7
points
straight
in game
points.
1 Pioneer.
Stand corrected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So let me just. So my last point now. Preacher talk about. I don't remember who talked about this. I'm sorry if I misquoted, but they talk about defense. I thought that the Nets defense played extremely well in game 2. I've never seen the Nets defense play like that before. I thought they were hosting. I thought they were getting to loose balls. I thought they were up in Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I thought they were really good because I think first half Jaylen Brown had 5 points and Tatum had 7 points, something like that. So they were really locking up. But then I put this question to you. I put this question to you, Pioneer, because I know you're going to talk next. If there are 2 games, game 2 they were up by 17 and they still lose. Game 2 game 1 they were basically controlling the game and they still end up lose by 1 at the end of the game.
No, they were down 15. Remember, they were down 15 in game 1.
No,
In
Peter,
game
I talk about when them come back and them start take the lead, going down to the final minutes,
Mhm.
right? All right. So when you look at those 2 games, Pioneer, what now can the Nets do in order now to convince? Because if you're up by 17 when Boston offense is not playing well, what can you do now to convince people that, hey, the Nets can still win the series? Because I'm picking Boston in 5 still, because I think that Nets will win game 4 and then Boston will close it out at 2.
All right. For me, my pick to start before the series was Boston in 7. I am standing by that pick. I think the Nets win game 3. Possibly win game 4. All right. A couple of things will happen in the series. The calls will get a little different. I think when you look at the series, KD's been roughed up. He's not getting some of those calls. I think that changes when you go home. When you go home with the crowd, prompting the referees, and this is where a giant pitch, I beat Steve Nash even more. Normally, when a superstar is getting roughed up, the coach comes out and prompts the referees by saying something, put some pressure. He probably says something in the media, probably get a little small fine or something, but he puts that out there so to kind of influence the refereeing or to kind of get the refs' attention. I think that changes a little bit, slightly, at home for the Nets. I think KD gets some calls. If I expect, and as you just mentioned, Robert Williams coming back, Kems, I don't know what condition he comes back in, but I expect the Boston Celtics to continue to try and rough up KD, but somehow they get it done at home for me in game 3. They have no choice. I can't see them losing game 3, because if they lose game 3, then it's a sweep for me. So I see them winning game 3, possibly losing game 4 at home, but I still have Nets in 7. I think where the series is going to be won or lost, KD is going to get worn out. The way how they are defending him, the longer the series goes, he's going to get worn out and rubbed out completely. I still maintain that. I said it a couple of weeks ago. I maintain it now. The Boston Celtics are going to beat the Nets. It's not going to be a good look on KD and Kyrie's resume, but I see it happening. What do you say, Kem? Just saying something.
All right, so I just have two quick things. I don't know if you remember the podcast that KD and Kyrie went on, and Kyrie said, "Hey, I look at Steve as not a coach. Sometimes I could coach a team. Sometimes KD could coach a team. So I think it starts from there.
That was before Harden came to actually.
Yeah, that was before. Yeah, so
that was before.
I think they undermine the coaching
Well,
of Steve Nash because they look at Steve Nash as like a bridging.
Yeah.
Like, yo, I'm a bridging, so anybody can do whatever. And yeah.
G-Star, you wanted to rebut something that Kim just saying. Go ahead, G-Star.
Well, okay.
Stick up. Sorry.
I'm fine there. Sometimes that's why I always call timeout and make sure I say my things because a person like Kems is gonna say hindsight is 2020. Kems, before the playoffs, last week on Saturday when we had our show, I literally said KD has been having problems with physicality, and that could pose a big problem in the series, brother. And I don't remember who it was. Somebody attacked me like I was talking foolishness. Now back to the actual series. Now, this is Preacher mentioned Steve Nash. Steve Nash is literally doing nothing at all. Like he's literally doing zero on the sidelines, right? Now, this is the series. Sometimes you can win on skill in the NBA, but you need tactics as well. KD should not be dribbling the ball 10 times before he has a shot. He needs to get the ball in a shooting zone so he has a triple threat so he doesn't have to dribble. So that is one tactic, right? The second thing is there's no ball movement or man movement for the Brooklyn Nets. So when KD gets the ball...
You know the interest of John Jason. Go ahead.
Hold on, let me just finish this on Steve Nash because this is a technicality. Sometimes you have to go inside the game, right?
Right.
There are 10, and Kenny Smith said it after the thing as well, that they're doing a disservice to KD. So the coaching is actually making KD look worse than he really is, right? Because he's catching the ball. Yeah, KD's dribbling the ball up the floor. You have Goran Dragic, Kyrie Irving, Patty Mills. Why is KD using energy dribbling the ball? Plus, KD has to dribble, he has to rebound, he has to play defense, and he has to score. You're asking him to do too much. Even the great Michael Jordan had to use Dennis Rodman so Dennis Rodman could rebound. So this comes down to a lot of it. I blame KD, absolutely. But a lot of it is Steve Nash not putting his players in the right positions so they can have success.
Ajista, you have been beating Steve Nash for a while and things. Preacher, you wanted to say something?
G-Star made a point. Somebody was asking if Drummond is unplayable versus the Celtics. Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to quickly comment on that because Drummond starts the game, but he doesn't finish the game.
That's a problem for me too.
And Andre Drummond, he gives you the rebound, defensive rebounding and offensive rebounding, but he gives you a body in the paint. Mm-hmm. They have been outscored in the paint. In the first game, they lost the game by 2 layups. You're up 3. That's in the NBA.
That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable.
Unacceptable. You can't give up 2 layups in an NBA game when you're up 3 in the last minute of the game. That's just
unacceptable. And then their shot and Preacher and their shot was a 28-footer by KD. So it's just
exactly.
There's an observation that I made in game 2. Basically, what they were doing, and Jaylen Brown was the man doing it most. He was basically calling out he was calling for the smaller guards to come to him. Patty Mills said Curry like him call for them, come. Whoever had them, he was putting them in the pick and roll, calling them. So it shows that a bigger body like a Blake Griffin could make a difference.
Also, Pioneer, really quickly, to Preacher point, where you have to understand in the Preacher, what the Boston Celtics do, is that they go small. When I say go small, so now Al Horford is at the 5. If you notice with Al Horford is at the perimeter shooting. When Daniel Tice is there, that is where Drummond is effective. Because Daniel Tice can shoot. Al Horford can shoot. So now Drummond now is becoming a liability.
No. I would live with Al Horford shooting 3-point shots and beating me in a playoff game than leaving the paint open. Nah.
You can't argue that. Yeah, you can't argue that for sure.
Not when you have a Jaylen Brown who always wants to drive to the basket, or a Jason Tatum who is skilled at driving to the basket. So I would live with Al Horford beating with jump shots any day of the week. Gunner's boss is saying it's over for the Nets, especially if Time Lord Williams, and in this case he's talking about Robert Williams III, return. Bringing in Ben Simmons, bringing in Simmons now is a sign of desperation. KD lost a few steps, and is not the same player. That is left to be seen, Gunners boss. Let's see how that plays out. Gentlemen, let's move to the next series, which is the 3-6 matchup.
3-6. Who that? 3-6.
You want to get 3-6 matchup, man?
Who are 3-6 again? We not even know.
3-6.
Probably.
Milwaukee, Chicago.
It's Bucks.
The Bucks.
That
That is surprisingly
Interesting. It's become interesting.
tied at 1 game apiece. It sounds like Kems want to jump. Kems, it sounds like you want to jump to the Sixers Toronto series, you know.
No, I mean.
Well, that's it, Bridget.
Yes, man.
All right, so Bucks 1 game 1. By the way, I want to welcome Wandan MUFC 45 to the stream. Good to have you again, my brethren. Also, welcome Fabian Full. Fabian Full is saying KD should have stayed at Golden State. Boy, a lot of people tend to agree with that. Fabian Full. But let's look at the Bucks versus Chicago series. I'm pretty sure we'll start with you for this one. That series is interestingly poised at 1 apiece. How you saw the first 2 games, and how do you see the series going forward?
Well, not many of us would have picked Chicago to actually compete in this series. I think if my memory serves me well, we all had the Bucks winning by a canter. But I think what we have seen is guard for guard play. I mean, DeMar DeRozan has shown that he can compete with the best of them. He has stuck to the mid-range jumper game, and he has improved his strength. He's actually surprisingly much stronger than I thought he was. But then I think the Bulls, with getting Caruso back, and having Levine and their center playing decent enough basketball, have actually have a chance to make this series more interesting. Not to mention the fact that Chris Middleton is out for the rest of the series. With Chris Middleton out, the Bucks lose scoring and they lose that defensive presence that Chris Middleton can give. And we know that if Giannis is forced to have to be the central scorer on this team, it may not necessarily be the best thing for the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis actually thrives because he has Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton gives him the opportunity to play off the ball and to be able to get breaks when he's not having, his best night. I think without Middleton, more pressure will be on Giannis to be a scorer from the get-go, and then you can set your defense against that and around that. So I still see the Milwaukee Bucks pulling it up, but the series will be much more interesting. I give the Bulls a chance to take it to 7 games, given that Middleton is out.
All right, Kems, I saw you reacting to Preacher's comments. What do you have to say about the series?
I don't know which Giannis you're looking at. Probably you're looking at the Giannis that get beaten by Miami or the one that get beaten by Toronto. But the
Giannis who has never played without Chris Middleton. That's the Giannis I'm talking about.
Well, let me show you. Let us go back to that game 6. Against the Phoenix Suns. Giannis grabbed that game by the handle. Listen, I think Giannis have matured. I'm not even the word to describe it. I think the way how Giannis have matured so much as a basketball player. Now he's hitting his free throws. Now he's hitting his jumpers. Now he continues to work on his game. I believe if Giannis needs to score 50 in every game to beat the Bulls, I think Giannis is more than capable of doing that. Now, what I will say that concerned me about this series, I don't know if you remember Pioneer Game 1. DeRozan shoot 24%, Vucevic shoot 30%, Levine shoot 30%. Those are their quote-unquote big 3, and they only lost by 7. The Milwaukee Bucks still didn't dominate the game, right? Now, obviously, as Preacher mentioned, Chris Middleton is out for the rest of the series. I still believe that Drew Holiday, Serge Ibaka, Brook Lopez, Giannis, I still think that they'll get over the hump. I don't think Chicago is any team to give them any worries. But I'm going that instead of 5, I had it in 5, I think I'm going to go to 6. I'm going to go to Bucks in 6.
All right, G-Star, how you see the... we could just keep it brief, gentlemen. In the interest of time. We haven't even reached out to West yet, and we're gone 4 minutes in the stream already. So,
well, these guys summed it up pretty nicely. So I would say that the injury to Chris Middleton has, for me, has opened the door for Chicago, right? So it's gonna be a tighter series, and I give them a good chance. But I think maybe what he wanted to say is Middleton helps the Milwaukee Bucks to thrive because Giannis can thrive without Chris Middleton. That's it.
Right. We're gonna ask the persons in the stream, just like the video for us. Hit the like button. Help us to, run up the algorithm on the stream. See if we can get more viewers to I Am Sure Sports. For me, and the sentiments go along the same lines. I give Chicago a chance though to win Game 3. I think that would make the series even more interesting. I think somehow with Middleton out, things gets a little more balanced for me. Still have Milwaukee winning, possibly 6 or 7 games. The good thing, they have home court advantage. Well, they have last home court advantage, but I see them winning at least one in Chicago. The Game 7 would be, probably on their home court. So more than likely, they should be able to pull it off. A one win in a series, though, can sometimes energize a team, especially an underdog. So I'm expecting a harder fight from the Chicago Bulls going forward. This series, we had predicted as well. I had predicted a sweep last week, but I think with the absence of Middleton, somehow there's going to be some more excitement and intrigue in the series. Moving on quickly, gentlemen, to the series I know Kems is itching to talk about, which is the Philadelphia 76ers versus the Toronto Raptors. And I'll hold up my hands. I had Toronto pulling off the upset in this series. It's obvious that that's not looking, things are not looking that rosy. As it stands right now, they are down 3-0, looking like they're about to be swept. Philly is looking good, even though, and let's give my analysis to start. Even though James Harden hasn't come to the party fully yet, and that is in my opinion, he's doing enough. His playmaking is assisting, and is facilitating people like Tyrese Maxey to come up and come good. Embiid is doing Embiid things. We expect nothing less from Embiid. That game winner he hit the other night, spectacular. Have to give a little roses to Doc Rivers. I have oftentimes come on this stream and has been hard against him with his coaching. Over the last couple of years, he has done some things, some questionable things, in situations in his team. That play call the other night was big, so we have to give him flowers to that. I see the sweep. I can't see Toronto coming up with anything to avoid the sweep. And at worst, at best, I see this ending in 5 games. G-Star, you being the Toronto native here, I'm going to start with you. Tell me how you see the Toronto team faring in Game 4, and you give them any chance in the series.
They'll win Game 4. They'll win Game 4. There's too much pride in T that not to at least squeak out a 1 game in a series. But I mean, no team in the history of the NBA has ever come back from a 3-0 deficit. So we overstand say, the series is done. We just want to fight it out, try to win as many games as possible, and maybe even do the impossible. But let's face it, Joel Embiid looks good. When Joel Embiid is hitting Kobe-like turnaround 3-pointers from the baseline, I mean, what are you going to do about that? Can't do about that. And Joel Embiid is a load. I thought Toronto would have a better game plan for him to slow him down, which is very, very, very hard to do. Easier said than done. Scottie Barnes being out, that hurt. But all in all, it's definitely sticking on the Raptors.
All right, so gentlemen, let's not even waste much more time. Well, Preacher, give me your views, Preacher.
Doc Rivers. My view is just Doc Rivers.
Doc Rivers.
You already gave him the flowers, but let's just quickly say there was 0.9 seconds left on the shot on the shot clock. He called that timeout, drew up a play with. I mean, nobody expected Joel Embiid to get that and make a 3-point shot. I thought they were going to throw something to the basket, a lob or something. Fact is, that's the difference between coaching and winning a basketball game. if Steve Nash can take a page out of Doc Rivers' book, maybe the Nets have a chance to come back in the series.
Right, I agree with you. I've been probably the biggest Doc Rivers critic, and when a man does something like that, you have to give him his credit. And to Doc's credit, that was a big play call there. So, gentlemen, let's slide out west quickly. And
hold on, boss. We can't attack.
Oh, hold on. You never. Oh, so my apologies, boss.
No. We know you don't have a talk about Sixers. Listen, hey, again, this is another one. G-Star come and do him little soliloquy and talk about what he that I go do and what him not go do. And listen, I tell you guys already say, hey, Philadelphia won this trade between them and the Nets. Why? Because they only have to plug in one player into a system instead of plugging in other players, Ben Simmons, Curry, and all of that. Listen. What I love with Philadelphia, they don't need James Harden to score 30. They don't need James Harden to score 40. What they mostly need from James Harden is to facilitate the basketball and hit timely shots and be efficient. Once James Harden can do that, I think Philadelphia is on their way. I picked Philadelphia to go to the finals and obviously lose to the Suns. But the Philadelphia is looking good right now. Tobias Harris has been big. Tyrese Maxey has been big. Obviously, Joel Embiid is Joel Embiid. And as you said, Doc Rivers. So I'm going with the 4-0 sweep. G-Star talk about pride, but I see Joel Embiid already shading Drake and say, hey, we're coming for that sweep. So both teams will be hungry. And I think that Philadelphia know that they have Miami up next. They want to get rid of this series as soon as possible, get some rest and get ready to go.
For the record, quickly, Kems, let me put you up on the spot before it even happened. How do you see the Philly-Miami series going?
I'm going for Philadelphia to win in 6.
In 6. All right, my brethren. All right. So we're going out west. And my apologies, sir. That wasn't intentional. Like, I wasn't trying to skip over here. It's just that my mind kind of work a little bit in fast forward gear today. So we're going out west. Let's look at a series that I think is interesting, the boys. Injury to Devin Booker. We're talking about the 1-8 series. The Suns versus the 8 seed Pelicans. Injury to Devin Booker. The series is tied at 1. We are hearing talks of Zion coming back for game 3, possibly game 4. Series now moves to New Orleans. Preacher, tell me how you saw the first 2 games and tell me how you see the series going forward, Preacher.
I mean, strangely enough, I think the Pelicans actually are a better matchup than we thought for the Suns. Not that they are going to beat them. But I think what the Pelicans have in terms of the ability of Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum to create shots for themselves actually give them an opportunity to compete in games. And they have competed in the 2 games that they've played, the 1-1 and the last one. Now, the Suns have the advantage of not playing with Devin Booker for a stretch. In the regular season, they didn't play with Chris Paul for a stretch. So I don't know that the loss of Devin Booker is going to significantly affect their chemistry going into the rest of the game. But I do see the Pelicans making it an even more interesting series. I see the Pelicans losing in 6. I have them winning probably the next game. But the Suns should pull it out. They are the defeated champions from last year. They're the favorites to win. And they still have the best leader in the series, Chris Paul. He's going to find a way. Yeah.
All right. Kems.
All right. So really quickly, listen, the Pelicans not winning another game in this series. The Suns were without Devin Booker for 2 weeks, but that time he was with his left hamstring, and they went 5-2 within those games. I believe that the Suns have been tested this whole regular season as Preacher said, with players being in and out, and I think that they are ready for the challenge. Monty Williams, big time coach. Love that guy. As Preacher said about CP3, listen, I think CJ McCollum, as good as a player as he is, I think he's too inconsistent, unreliable. He was very bad in that game until the closing stages when Brandon Ingram heat up, then here comes CJ McCollum again. So if he comes out like that, sloppy and all of that kind of stuff, I don't think it will work out. I think that the Suns are on a mission to win a championship. If you allow New Orleans to come in front of your way, then you're not serious about the championship. Because I know we're going to talk about it later, but if you look at that Warriors team, you better close business and get as much rest as you possibly can. So I'm going Suns in 5, and no more wins for Pelicans in this series.
No
All right,
more wins for the Pelicans.
no more
Crazy.
wins for the. All right. I think I see Pelicans win. And initially, when I was giving my analysis last week, I said I think the Pelicans were good enough to win one game. I think with Booker being out, but there are some players in this league who I think that they try for that opportunity to prove something. I think Brandon Ingram is one of those players. You could see it in game 2 that he wants to show that, listen, who have you forgotten about me? I am one of those guys to be reckoned with in this league. And I see them winning another game. But like you two gentlemen, the Sun is on a quest to win a championship. And I consider Booker's injury, and I expect him to be back. I consider this probably a little bump in the road. Small hurdle to be dealt with. But I see them, like both of you gentlemen, I see them winning the series possibly in 6. I want to welcome Eddie Gooner to the stream. And I want to say to all the to the brethren in the stream and all the viewers in the stream, hit the like button and share the video and continue to comment. Eddie Gooner is saying that just wait until Joel belly start hurt him. I don't know what he means by that. I think he's probably saying that Toronto is gonna come back in the series. I can't see that happening. Interestingly, what I want to see is that next series that I asked games about, which is the possible matchup between Miami and Philly. That should be a mouth-watering series. I can't wait for that one to happen. Welcome back, G-Star, to the stream. And gentlemen, you know what I want to do? We're gonna leave the Golden State, Denver, and the but that's a natural order, I think. Let's discuss the Utah Dallas series before we get to the Golden State, Denver, and the Grizzlies and the Grizzlies and Minnesota series. So let's go to Utah Dallas. Interestingly, the localist Dallas Mavericks are 2-1 up on the Utah Jazz and G-Star. I'm going to start this one, and this one I'm going to beat you, G-Star. I remember speaking about a particular virgin named Jalen Brunson.
Oh, boy.
And G-Star, what did you say, G-Star? Jalen Brunson?
Yeah. But I still said that. Jalen, he's all right. He's all right.
I give you a chance to make a public apology right here and now. So before me even give analysis, may I ask you nicely and kindly to make a public apology to Jalen Brunson and Spencer Dinwiddie.
Let me think. I'm gonna give him more credit. I mean, there's nothing I can't take that away from him. He's definitely been balling, right?
We told you that he was balling from the regular season.
He's averaging 17 points a game for the season, so that's not bad. I said he's high. But I'm saying, for anybody who just think that Jalen Brunson...
And for the record, for those who are weird, the man dropped 41 in game 2.
Yeah, man. So he definitely deserves his flowers, isn't me? But at the end of the day, for me, when it becomes serious, he's still Jalen Brunson. He's still Spencer Dinwiddie. Don't forget him too.
What I see these two gentlemen going on, and for the record, a lot of persons thought the Dallas Mavericks was a one team, one player team. Persons thought that the Dallas Mavericks would go as far as Luka would take them. Utah Jazz, outside of Joe Ingles been missing, they're a team that is whole. They did some additions to their team.
Joe Ingles got traded, right?
During being injured, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's
traded.
Shoot. I think one of them team though. He got traded during.
That was a quiet trade. I didn't hear about it. Did you heard about that, Preacher?
No, I was wondering where he was in the series.
No, man, I know he got injured early in the season. He got injured around about mid-season, right before the All-Star break.
I believe he's still injured. He's still injured.
No. Okay, well I didn't know about the trade. But he's a big shot maker. But what I'm saying, you would think that this Utah Jazz team, having the experience and being together for a while and being to the playoff for the last 4 or 5 years, with Donovan Mitchell and
he's with Portland now. He's with Portland
Bogdanovich and Conley and all of those players who have been to the playoffs, who have playoff experience.
But that's a problem, Pioneer. That's a problem. I think after a while, I think teams in pro sports, basketball, the NFL, teams that have been together for long and have not managed to get over the line to go to the next level. I think they have reached their peak, and Utah peaked, and I don't think this Utah team has the ability to go any further. In fact, I'm thinking that they're going to break this team up going into next season. The problem with Utah is that Utah is not necessarily a place where megastars, superstars want to go to play. They're a small market compared to the other big markets. But if you look at the Utah team historically, they gave up a 3-1 lead when they were in the bubble. Last season they were up 2. They gave up a 2-0 lead. They lost to Denver in a series that they should have won when Denver went to the conference finals.
That was a 3-1 lead that they blew.
Right. They lost to the Clippers last year in a series that they should have won.
We expected them to win, yeah?
Yeah. So this Utah team has flattered to deceive time and time again. They're just living up to who they have been. Their coach, actually, he may be on the chopping block.
There are also talks of him going to the Lakers.
There's no talks of that. Those are rumors. Those are rumors. That's not happening. Hey, listen really quickly on Pioneer, because I know.
Just give Preacher a chance to finish.
I think we're done.
Yeah. Just being quickly and just to quickly say, Dallas will go where Luka will take them. Beating Utah doesn't say much because Utah has shown that they're a team that flatters to deceive. Dallas is not going any further unless Luka comes back and can play at the high level that we know he usually plays. That's it.
All right. Well, for the next series, they will have, and we are thinking that the Suns, if what we are saying that the Suns will come through, they'll have the Suns to contend with in the next series. So, but just to add a little thing, Preacher, what performance like this does, or what a situation like this does for young players. For example, Jalen Brunson, we have been talking up for the entire season. Performing like this in a playoff series, in a high-level playoff series, gives them a level of confidence, and it augurs well for them for the future. Spencer Dinwiddie, who I have held in high regard since he has been with the Nets, knocking off a more favored opponent, especially with your big star out, gives them a level of confidence. So,
the matchup is a favorable one. Listen, Utah defensively, all right, cannot guard the 3-point line. They're being killed on the 3-point line. The strength of their defense is their defensive player of the year, 2-time, 3-time defensive player of the year. They have to take him out of the game in order to go small, to try and compete with what the Mavs have in their wing players. So it's a good matchup for Dallas, even without Luka. Now, when Dallas has to play against a team like Phoenix, who can guard the 3-point line and who has inside presence as well, it's going to be a totally different ballgame. That's why I'm saying, even though they're doing well, I'm not that impressed with what Dallas is doing, because Utah has shown that they're the kind of team that you can do that against.
All right, let's see how the series goes for the rest of the series. I mean, 2-1. Series is still not over, so let's see what happens for the rest of the series. Kems, you were saying something.
So listen, I told G-Star, Jalen Brunson, second round pick out of Villanova, right? And I know G-Star don't watch Jalen Brunson. Just by how him talk, I know him don't watch him. Right? These are the man numbers. 24, 41, and 31. Those are not little baby numbers. I know KD would love those numbers right now in that Boston series. But that's neither here nor there. All right, listen. I know we try to beat on Utah a lot, but I think Dallas actually won that game. Utah shot over 50% from the field. And again, I want to big up Rudy Gobert all the time, and I said, hey, he can do his thing. Not you. But I said, he can do his thing in the regular season. But when it comes to playoffs, when teams, because we saw the Clippers do it, drag him out of that little paint where he's comfortable, and then they have to take him out of the game and put in some guy named Eric Pascal, and then obviously, that is the end of the day. What I will say now about Dallas is that they say Luka is coming back for game 4, because they say he was feeling good, he was practicing, but them give him another rest. He's coming back for game 4. I think Jason Kidd is doing a fantastic job with Dallas. And I told you guys before, I said, with Luka or without Luka, I'm picking Dallas to win the series. Because why?
You did.
Jason Kidd said he wants to create a team to the same championship team that won when Dirk was there. Have one superstar and have a lot of role players who play their roles exceptionally well. And that is what Dallas is doing. Now for Utah, I think Quinn Snyder needs to go out of there. Every single series, they have lost. He has lost 3 games in a row. And this series obviously is going to happen as well. He did it in the Clippers series, lose game 5 and game 6 without Kawhi. Did it with Denver, did it 2 times with Houston. So listen, this Utah thing, I think Donovan Mitchell is not interested. He doesn't want to play with Rudy Gobert. You see it in his facial expression. He's not ready. Pioneer, you talk about LeBron's facial expression, so I know you can read Donovan Mitchell's own. He's just not interested in playing basketball in Utah or with Rudy Gobert. So I'm going right now. Luka coming back. Utah won't win another game, so Dallas will win in 5.
Wow. When you said that when you made that pick last week, Kems, I thought you were crazy, but coming through the farm. Quickly, G-Star, give me your.
Yeah, this is probably the biggest surprise. Even though the Nets are down 0-2, this is a bigger surprise for me. No Luka. I have to give credit to the Dallas Mavericks. I have to give credit to Jalen Brunson because he's been their scoring leader, right? But the fact that we're talking about Jalen Brunson, and he's the one that's beating their side. Utah needs to just start that whole thing over. Just blow it up. Probably even trade Donovan Mitchell too, because as Kem said, he has seemed disinterested, right? So at the end of the day, to me, this is a waste for Utah. This is a waste season.
How you see the series going? G-Star, your side series.
I think if Luka misses like another 2 games, I have the door open for Utah. But if Luka comes back, because I think you said it before now, all of these players now have confidence, and maybe even bigger than that. Luka now can even have more confidence in them that they're winning without him. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, if Luka comes back relatively in a short period of time, I'm gonna give it to Dallas.
All right.
He's going to play game 4.
Gunners boss, me respond to some. Gunners boss, are you saying that you're crazy? That call have nothing to do with no Gunners boss. If you go back to the thing, they actually played Doc. There's a clipping of Doc Rivers in the huddle calling up the play. And it was executed. When you listen to the play call, it was executed exactly to plan Gunners boss. So you're wrong there, my brethren. Said if Doc call a play for Joel, he's the dumbest coach in basketball. Well, obviously he's dumb, but his dumb call came through and it worked. And it's one of the highlights that you're gonna see in Embiid's career, and it's probably one of the highlights you're gonna see on NBA TV and in some clippings going forward. I have Pagan 180 here who tell me say Suns peak last season. I kind of disagree with Pagan 180, but this is the NBA and this is the playoff. Let's see what happens. Everybody, including myself, has been high on the Suns. The Pelicans are putting up a test. Let's see how they stand up to that test. All right, gentlemen, I'm leaving the best for last. So you know that is, I'm leaving the Golden State series for the last. All right,
that's the best series?
No, I was thinking the best. All right, hold on. So, all right, let me switch it around. Because I kind of like what I'm going with Memphis and Minnesota. So let's discuss Golden State Warriors. Kems, I know you had the Joker and the Denver Nuggets beating the Golden State Warriors. Tell me how you see 3 games so far, and have you changed your mind, my brethren? Have the Golden State Warriors now convinced you that they are the real deal?
All right, so let me say this. Me picking Denver was just me not wanting to pick Golden State. I never thought that Denver would have won this team. I just never want to pick Golden State. Someone else go with Denver. So listen now. What do you think that I'm having at the monastery here with the confession room? With the confession room named G-Star? That little thing where you're going and...
with the priest, with the priest.
You go to the priest. I think that's the confession room. I think, all right. Kems is in the confession room. Yeah, the confession booth. Come, Kems, you're in the confession booth.
So listen now. So what I want to say before anything, I must say, Steph Curry is probably one of the most selfless basketball players I've ever seen on this planet, right?
Mhm.
When it was even suggested that Russell Westbrook go to the bench, that man was furious. When it was suggested that Carmelo Anthony come off the bench, he had to be out the league for him come back and accept a bench role. Steph Curry was like, hey, I haven't been here for 2 weeks. The team is playing well. I'll just come off the bench. No ego, no nothing. And listen, that has helped. I think that has helped Klay Thompson's game and also obviously Jordan Poole. I wasn't big on Jordan Poole. Why? Because I thought that Klay Thompson coming in would soak up a lot of those minutes.
So
and then
stick up in right there. And actually, this is the other beat we have for you, gentlemen. I remember being right here. We were discussing Ben Simmons, and I said to everybody on the panel, I think I was the only person saying this: give me Jordan Poole over Ben Simmons 7 days a week. I saw, and I remember using this analogy. I said to people, like my granny in the country, I said, if you want to know if the chicken are big, just look at the foot. I saw this coming from Jordan Poole. I saw this from last year coming over. I saw this in the regular season. And this is almost like a revelation of this. A new star is being born in front of our eyes in the player. All right.
Absolutely.
And
Pioneer.
Yes,
Don't
yes.
make Kems get away with barely saying, I wasn't big on Jordan.
Okay.
Kems. Okay, finish.
Totally played down and almost ridiculed.
A pioneer.
But as I said, preacher, I'm in the confession room, so I'm going to give him a chance to confess. Come, continue, my brother.
Right. I'm not take up a lot of time. So listen, you know what Jordan Poole has done, not only have he scored the basketball, but the offense is seemingly running through Jordan Poole. And he has been absolutely efficient, shooting over 50%, over 60%, and is not scared at the moment. He's coming like he's a Steph Curry of the team. He's playing exceptionally well. Listen, now, let us put some context to the situation. It is the flipping Denver Nuggets, right? When you go up against another team, it's time to lace up the shoes. I wouldn't be surprised if game 4, I see Draymond coaching the game, Klay Thompson as the assistant coach, because Denver is not ready. Now, what I will say, though, about Golden State is that the way how they develop players is absolutely amazing. Steph, Klay, Draymond, and now Poole. And I know G-Star tell me about Kuminga. Let us see what he comes up with and what he can do. But this series is over. It will be a 4-0 sweep. But listen, this Joker and this MVP and all this talking, listen, Draymond Green is a foot less than Joker, and he's giving Joker a bunch of problems, a bunch of issues. You think that Draymond Green can give Shaq issues, Akeem? No. So I think Joker right now is just not it. I think he's more a 1B.
Joker has been proven to be a joker right now.
There you go. I think he's a 1B or a 2. I don't think he's a 1 for a team. Don't think so.
All right. I kind of disagree upon that, but give Draymond credit. And this is another thing again when I take credit and kudos for. I've been speaking about Draymond Green for the last 7 years. All right. Probably one of the greatest defensive players in the history of basketball. But I don't want to digress too much. Preacher, give me your views on the Golden State Denver series, games that have been played, and how you see the series going.
Listen, all right. So Denver have been disadvantaged from the beginning of the season. They've been without 2 of their better players, Murray and Porter Jr. Right. So we didn't expect. I don't know why Kems would have picked the Nuggets. He says he was just hating on the Warriors. But if anybody was being realistic, you wouldn't expect the Nuggets to beat the Warriors, with the Warriors having Klay back and having the team at full strength. I think what we've seen is that Draymond Green obviously is the quarterback of that team's defense and their offense. He's the one who starts everything. He sets the tone. He's not necessarily a better individual basketball player than other good players in the league, but he's definitely the right fit for the Golden State Warriors in terms of what they try to do and how they try to play basketball. Jordan Poole, you guys have said enough about him. He is a revelation. I have the Warriors winning with a sweep, to be honest. And let me just say this quickly about Joker. Joker is getting his numbers. Joker has big numbers, all right, in the series. Problem with Joker is not dominant. His points are not the kind of points that are impactful points. Somebody might say, how the hell can points not be impactful points? Well, he scores a lot and he gets a lot of rebounds, but you don't feel his footprints, his handprints on the game. you don't feel there's a sense in
Absolutely.
which there's no stamp, there's no Djokovic stamp on the game. He's just
Absolutely.
getting those calories, those empty calories.
Empty
And
calories.
so
Yes, sir.
and so at the end of the day, he might get regular season's MVP, but as Kem says, he's definitely not that kind of player that's gonna lead a team to a title. No.
Talk that talk, preacher. Talk that talk,
All right,
preacher. Yes,
I-
sir.
well, all right. I don't want to say he can't be a number one. All right. There are people who think that when Murray was there, Murray was the number one. All right. By the way, I want to welcome Demo Dre to the stream.
Yes,
I don't
sir.
know
Yes,
if
sir.
we're getting your on voice, Demo Dre.
No, you're getting the voice,
We have
man. You're
Demo
getting
Dre in the
voice.
stream. Demo Dre.
Yeah, hear me?
We're not hearing Demo Dre.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man,
man,
we
I
are
hear
here,
him.
man.
You're hearing him?
Yeah.
I'm not hearing Demo Dre.
You can't hear me, Pioneer?
All right, I'm hearing you now, Demo Dre.
Okay,
All right, you're in the
okay.
stream. What you want to chime? Tell me what you want to chime in.
No, man. I was big up everybody at the stream, all
Bless.
basketball gurus
Yeah,
here.
bless,
Big up
bless.
everybody in the comment section. I mean, I just had two things, but I think not Pastor, Preacher clarified it because a lot of people were blaming Jokic, saying him not dominant. But when you check him numbers, it's extremely impressive. You know what I mean? And me just could understand why people are blaming him. So I wanted to ask a question here. Obviously, I talked to Ken about it already, and him kind of explain it. But the second thing is, I don't know if he mentioned it about the whole Poole and Curry thing. So my question to you guys, do the Golden State Warriors continue with Curry coming off the bench or they make it stay?
All right. Well. All right. So I'm sure I answer that for you, Demo Dre. Obviously, Curry is a starter. You can't have Curry, but considering that he's coming back from injury, and obviously, as Kem stated, he's a selfless player, probably the most selfless superstar I've ever seen in the NBA. He has no problem. Curry works in the interest of the team. All right, I can't say as let's say a healthy Steph Curry. I can't say Steve Kerr having a healthy Steph Curry coming off the bench. But in a situation like this where he's obviously trying to manage his minutes, not wanting to, put too much pressure on the injury to his leg, then for in the near future, let's say game 4, possibly the first game of the next series, if Curry is not at 100%, then I could see, for example, a series against Memphis, the coach carrying out that keeping the experiment going. Because what I think it does, Demo J. What I think it does, I think starting, and we have seen this from the regular season, starting somehow kind of ignites Jordan Poole. I think when he comes off the bench, he comes off a little bit passive.
Exactly.
But
And the question is Pioneer before me run. I'm gonna left enough to talk about it and watch. But the question is, Curry coming off the bench to play against other bench players for either the Grizzlies or whoever they're gonna play is a plus for Golden State because you have him around the Golden State second unit options against the bench options for the other teams, and that's kind of a mismatch, you know what I mean? So that's our argument. So you can chop it up for me, but if I don't worry, but mega list.
All right. Respect the emoji. Great contribution, the emoji. Thank you for your input, my brother.
One quick thing, Pioneer. Listen, this is the playoffs, so I don't think there's no quote unquote second unit because the rotation slims down. Right, so it's like I know Golden State probably use the most rotation, but I think, for example, like a Memphis, their rotation is not as extended. And Denver, they really have Jokic and then a bunch of scrubs after that. So again, I'm saying this is Denver. So this is the team that you would want to experiment everything with. You want to bring Curry off the bench, you want to do that. I do agree that when Jordan Poole starts, because I think when he comes into the game, he's trying to find himself. Trying to, where can I insert myself in the game to be effective? But when him starting those guns blazing, listen, there is no way Curry is 100% healthy and comes off the bench in the Grizzlies. Or else it's going to be probably a sweep or a 5-game for Memphis. All right,
we're going to discuss that, Kems. I know the Warriors here continue, my brother. It not come as a surprise. G-Star, may I give you a chance to chime. But let me say this quickly. I think for this series, I think going forward, I can see them moving Klay Thompson to the 4, having Draymond play the 5, and are moving Klay Thompson to the 3, using Wiggins at the 4, and having Draymond play the 5 in a series. So the lineup that everybody is now calling the new death lineup, I can't see them starting that lineup against a Memphis Grizzlies team, because only big body they're having to contend with there would be Steven Adams. And I think Draymond Green has the beating of Steven Adams based on previous history. All right, so I could see them starting that 3-guard lineup in a series against Memphis. So that might be the solution to the problem going forward. But as I said, the selflessness of Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, obviously, facilitates Poole's inclusion, whether I'm a start or I'm a come off the bench. G-Star, I'll give you a chance to chime in on the Warriors not get serious.
Yeah, well, let me just say something about, Steph is selfless, but you don't do all that hot dogging and you don't have no ego, right? Steph Curry has definitely I'm sure he has a very, very big ego. So for him to come off of the bench when the games actually matter, I don't think that's going to happen. Because when Klay Thompson was coming back, it was definite that Klay Thompson, no matter what John Poole was doing, Klay Thompson was going to start. So you can't have one of the 15 greatest players of all time coming off of the bench, right? Trust me, because I played high school ball, and it makes a difference whether you come off of the bench and be a starter. Everybody wants to start. To the series now, the series is over. To me, I think you guys are beating up on Joker a little bit too much. Preacher said it. He's without Michael Porter Jr. and he's without Jamal Murray. And Jamal Murray is a fire starter, right? He's an igniter. So without that, the rest of those guys, Aaron Gordon, Will Barton, I can't remember, Morris, all these guys are role players. So Joker really doesn't have the weaponry to compete. Now, if he gets 37 points, 18 rebounds, and 5 assists, and I hear people like Charles Barkley saying, he didn't have an impact. I saw him having an impact. I saw him laying the ball up. It's like 102. Yeah, Draymond had some good plays on him, absolutely. And you can say that at times, Draymond should not be able to guard Nikola Jokic, which at times Draymond really was guarding him well. That really should not happen. But outside of that, he's playing exceptionally well. And I do believe Joker is a number 1 option for a championship winning team when he has other pieces. Like a Jamal, when he has supporting cast.
All right.
But it's
Preacher, anything you want to chime in on, Preacher, based on what was just said? And
the thing is,
what you said.
What we need, what do we remember in a basketball game or in a playoff series? We remember moments, significant moments in a game that impact the outcome of the game. There's a shot that Joker is supposed to be boxing out and getting a rebound for an easy rebound. He doesn't get the rebound. The Warriors get the rebound. Warriors end up scoring. It becomes a 3-point swing.
I think that's a play that Wiggins got the offensive
rebound. That wasn't him enough. No, that was Will Barton and Jeff Green. There were actually three players in
three players. They were in a triangle and the ball fell between them.
Joker wasn't one of them, Preacher. Joker should have contested Steph Curry's 3. He didn't step up enough. You can't say that. But Joker corrected. Wasn't one of those 3 players.
I stand corrected. Then you have the ball down probably 2, and you allow Draymond Green to strip you in a situation where you needed a basket. That's Joker. That's on Joker. What I'm talking about is recognizing moments and using your leadership and your superstar status in moments in a basketball game that count. Joker will get his numbers. Nobody's going to stop Joker from scoring. What they will need Joker to do is be big in the moments when it counts. And those were the moments in that game that counted. And I'm not going to say that Joker can't lead a team, but I'm telling you, Joel Embiid, given the same circumstances that Joker had in that game last night, Joel Embiid is not going to get stripped by Draymond Green. No. Joel Embiid is going to back him down and either get fouled or get a basket. Those are the things I think that sometimes make a difference.
A big point, preacher, and I'm glad I come in right at this time because that's a
I think
great
that's
point,
unfair,
preacher.
teacher.
That's a great point, preacher. Because listen, before that strip by Draymond Green, Pioneer. Before that strip by Draymond Green, there were 5 straight possessions that the Nuggets didn't score on. 3 of those 5 possessions was Joker doing a bunch of madness. So that is what preacher is talking about. When the game is on the line, I have a thing that I call clutch time, superstar time. The last 5 minutes in the game, superstar time. Show me what you are made of in that time. And Jokic has failed to do so. Remember in the Pioneer, also, the only time Denver has advanced to the conference finals, Jamal Murray was the leading scorer of the team. Hence, that is why I say Joker can't lead a team. He just cannot.
All right. So, gentlemen, So, the consensus is the series is over as a sweep. I kind of want to take it a little easy on the Joker, having to carry his team all through the regular season. And he's coming up against a Golden State team that I think is one of the 2 best teams in basketball. With regards to that strip, as Mr. Draymond Green is one of the best defensive players. I've seen him strip James Harden. I've seen him had big defensive players against some of the best players in the league. So I won't come down too hard on Joker. The game was at a pivotal point. A big play. You give credit to Draymond Green for the play. All right. Okay. You would want to argue that Karl Malone got stripped by Michael Jordan in that game 6.
No, Karl Malone got stripped by a Michael Jordan who came off the ball. Draymond Green was on the ball.
Right,
that's 2 different things.
All right. No, I'm saying, preacher. I don't even want to labor the point. But the Joker has been carrying the ship. He has been the one carrying the ship. He carried his team for the entirety of the season. They made the playoffs. We have to cut him a little slack.
I agree.
Let's judge the team next year when they get back their other 2 superstars. Well, the other superstar and their 3rd star, and let's see how things pan out for Denver. But for me, word to the wise, look out for the Golden State Warriors. Kems, I have 1 space left on the wagon, my brethren. It is at a high price, but may I give you a discount on it. You can buy that space, come sit on the Golden State Warriors. We're riding our way to the championship.
I am over Philly, boss. I am over Philly.
All right. Just don't jump off of that. By the next series, you're going to jump off of the Philly wagon. Gentlemen, let's look at the final series. A series that's full of intrigue and drama. And I kind of wrap up because we're going to go close to an hour and a half right now. So I wouldn't want to go over an hour and 40 minutes. So let's quickly look at the Minnesota Timberwolves versus the Memphis Grizzlies series. All right. Interest, intrigue, drama, all over. Let's start with you, preacher. Tell me how you see that going. Tell me how you saw last night's game, and just give me let's be detailed about it. All right.
Yeah. All right. So earlier we spoke about Steve Nash, and then we spoke about Doc Rivers.
All right. We have a call online, preacher. Someone wants to chime in, and hello. Let's see who we have online. Hello.
Yeah, man. Issa here. Good day, guys.
Yeah, Issa.
Game Preacher, G-Star. I just wanted to chime in on the Joker point because I don't know. I think Preacher and Kim is kind of ODing on the impact of Joker. I mean, Joker is basically the reason Denver is basically still in the yeah. You understand? And if we're talking about a couple of the plays, right? When I was watching the game, you have to also think about what type of plays were they running for Joker to get like buckets. You can't just say, yes, give him the ball and let him work. When Golden State have the ball, plays are being run for different persons, and you have 3 dangerous persons that can hurt you, right? When Joker is the only person on the team that can hurt you, it is easier to defend. You understand? So you have to put that into context as well. You can't just say, okay, yes, Joker is the man, take the ball, do this. You understand?
I agree with you, Issa.
No,
it's a one-track offense. Everything comes through the Joker. It's more predictable. It's easier to deal with. It's easier to defend. And it's obvious when you look at him. Whenever he comes out of the game and goes on the bench, you can see that he's visibly exhausted. He's panting.
He's fat. He's fat.
No, man,
It's fact.
but that has been. But hold on, Kems, man. Kems, if you, all right, let me go back to last year when Steph Curry was the sole person carrying the Golden State team. We saw things like this. It's like they could pile on to Steph Curry because they know that, listen, this player is coming through Steph. All right, so it was easy. It's easier to defend. It's harder to defend the Warriors when there's a three-headed monster and then there's a Andrew Wiggins who can knock down the open shot. When everybody knows that, listen, this player is coming through the Joker and they can zone in on him, then I agree with you.
Pioneer.
As I said it, yeah.
Pioneer, this is the thing. I don't think that's the argument Preacher and I are making. As Preacher said, Jokic will get his points. What I am saying is, with 3 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in the game, Denver was leading. If you are the superstar of that team, you close the deal.
He's tired. He's tired. He's tired, Kev.
No, I don't want to hear that, Pioneer. Like, this is the playoffs. Now tell me that. Listen, Pioneer. The role players did their jobs to get you leading in the fourth quarter. No, you as a superstar, you as the soul of the team, it is your time to close the deal.
All right, we still have this online.
Yeah, can I just quickly respond to that, Pioneer? All right, I agree. Probably was ODing a bit on the Joker. All right, yeah, I can give you that. I can see why you would say that. But I say this: if LeBron James had made the same mistakes down the stretch that Joker made, there are many of us who would be killing LeBron James, even if he got 40 points. If Kevin Durant made the same plays down the stretch, many of us would be killing him, even if Joker is the superstar that we say he is, then he has to wear the hat. He has. You can't be shielding him now. He's gonna have to wear the hat.
I'm not shielding him still enough, but I'm saying if you look at what the players have in the Arsenal, I don't think it is fair to compare LeBron and a Kevin Durant to a Joker in terms of the skill set and what they have in their arsenal to say, okay, you go take the ball and bring it up. You understand? Joker has to work in tandem with a number two. Has to. He has to.
All right, Issa, we want to thank you, Issa. Thank you for your input. And I agree with your views. I had said it prior to you coming on that I think Preacher and Kems were a little hard on the Joker.
And just to say on the other series, Cat, the toughest big man ever.
All right, we'll get into that. All right, gentlemen, let us segue into that series. We were about to discuss that. Preacher, you were gonna give us your views on the
listen.
Memphis
the coach for the Timberwolves should have been fired immediately after game 3. Listen, because you cannot allow a team to score 18 points and then you call a timeout when you're up by 20 plus points. After the first 10-0 run, you call a timeout.
It was actually scored 20. There was a 21-0 run, Preacher. Actually,
21 points. Yeah. Now the thing is, remember, your team is not a team that is making the playoffs year in year out. They're still a relatively young team. So this is where now you as a coach has to help them to calm them down, not get too high. You're up 26 points. You don't get too high. You still play the same basketball that got you there. Don't get too low. They're on a run. They're on a 15, 16 point run. Don't get too low. Maintain your composure. That's coaching. That is coaching. There's absolutely no way you can be up 26 points in the third going into the fourth quarter. You got back the lead and you still lose the game almost by double digits. That has to do with man management, coaching, game management. Now, the Cat has been missing in action over the 2 games. I'm not sure what's happening with him. Obviously, Memphis is a very physical team, and they're making his life very difficult. But he has to show up. He has to get back to himself.
That's coaching too? That's coaching too?
No. I dealt with the coaching issue first. Now I'm dealing with Cat. Okay. Cat has to show up. He's a very good player, one of the better centers in the league. But he has been missing. And he's getting the ball at the 3-point line most of the times.
He's a 3-point champion.
That's the rubbish that has created this kind of nonsense in the NBA where these big men think that they're going to be dominant at the 3-point line. He needs to be dominant in the paint. Why is Draymond Green so dominant? Because he does what his size allows him to do. He plays where he is best positioned to play. That's what these big men need.
I think Cat has rated himself as the best big man shooter, and I do agree with you that. And people like Charles Barkley have spoken about this, that these big men get caught up with 3-point shooting like they are Steph Curry. But to your point, that's the point you're making. So continue making your point, my brother.
I'm done because they're done. I'm done because they're done.
So you see the series as being over right here.
Listen, that's it.
Do you see them winning another game in the series?
6 games, max.
6 games, max.
Yeah.
Right. Games.
Pioneer, Preacher, you talk about coaching and timeout and so. Listen, there have to become a time where we hold the players accountable. Listen, Karl Anthony Towns have more fouls than field goals made in his last 2 games. 10 fouls and only made 7 field goals. After a while, I can't blame the coach anymore. Listen, you have Patrick Beverley. Patrick Beverley took 5 shots in the 4th quarter. Karl Anthony Towns took 4 shots in the whole entire game. That's absolutely unacceptable. I can't blame coaching for that. But listen, I told you.
Not here.
Hold on. So I guess you... you're no Pioneer? You're no Pioneer? Oh no, seem like him not here. But Preacher, as I'm saying, I said this to them when we were picking our winners and so. I say, hey, the Memphis Grizzlies will win this series because the Timberwolves will get lead and they will choke the lead away because they did that in the regular season against said Memphis Grizzlies. And I think this series is over in 5. I don't see how they can come back when you have Patrick Beverley leading your army. And Patrick Beverley is the one who is jumping up as a cheerleader and saying, yeah, we want that smoke too, just like Memphis. I think this series is over. Ja Morant definitely has to play better, though. He hasn't been playing well. He has to play better. But again, Shaq and those guys talk about it all the time. The others are always important. The role players are always important. And they stepped up big for Memphis.
All right. Charles Barkley has a thing where he says, even though he had picked the Memphis team for win the series, he said they are the stupidest basketball team he has ever seen. They make boneheaded decisions. With regards to what Preacher said about the coach, I think where the coach kind of got it wrong. When they were, and for the record, they were up 20 points twice in the game. In the first half, when they were up by 20, when the Grizzlies was making that run, he called 3 timeout, and it didn't help at that point. So basically, when they started making the second one, he took the decision at that time. But I'm saying it's a different point in the game. This is where you're at that point in the game, in the 4th quarter. This is when you need for kind of calm heads. This is when you need for kind of get your players settled. He didn't call a timeout for the entirety of that 21-hour run.
Yeah, but probably Pioneer can look on it another way as well. Probably in the halftime, probably a player go up and say, Coach, when we are going through a situation like that, allow us to play through it, allow us to figure it out. Because as you guys say, it's a young team. Allow them to figure it out.
No, but hold on. Hold on, Kems. I allow you to figure it out for a 7-hour run. I'll allow you to figure it to a 12-hour run. But I would not allow it to reach 15-hour run here. No, the scores are level. This team has momentum. They're coming at you. Desmond Bain and go off. This is where you call a timeout. And remember, the timeout is not only for you either, Kems. It's not only for your team. It is also to break the momentum of the opposition. So when you call a timeout, it is this man is on fire. I need to cool him down too. Because he's hot. Blood is boiling. He has adrenaline going.
But Pioneer, as you said, in the first half, they did the exact same thing. 3 timeout. And it still never helped the momentum.
No, but I'm saying that is where he got it wrong. Where he kind of flipped it for me. In the first part of the game, he allowed that to happen. But this is the 4th quarter. That is why coaches save their timeouts for the 4th quarter. Because this is when the game, and I know some fools in sports talk radio in Jamaica disagree, but this is when the game is on the line, brethren. This is when you can win or lose a game. This is when you don't have no chance to come back after you allow your team to lose, to slip, a lead to slip here, and the other team to get momentum going into the 4th quarter. So for me, there are some coaching errors. For me, it's on the players also. And Anthony Edwards for me have to come up. This youth have limitless potential. I was kind of a little disappointed with him last night. I have spoken about in my analysis of the thing last week. I spoke about the inconsistency of the Minnesota Timberwolves. They blew hot and cold. One night, D'Angelo Russell looked like he's an all-star and he's one of the best players in the league. The next night, he looks like he should be playing in China or in Europe. And Anthony Edwards is showing me that kind of hot and cold attitude. I don't know. Cat, for me, has a problem. He has to figure out whether he's a shooter or he's a big man. He has the potential to dominate in the paint, but he always resorts to jacking up jump shots. There's nothing wrong with a big man having the ability to shoot, but I think that should be a weapon kept in the arsenal to be used when necessary, not for you to resort to at every given opportunity. That is just my analysis of the thing.
Can I just add something quickly before G start?
Like Kem said, we can't see them winning another game. I think last night's game must have taken out their heart and soul. Being up 20 twice in a game, losing a game like that on your home court, having your home crowd booing at sections and cheering for the opposition, I think that for me would have disheartened them to the level where I can't see them winning. I see a gentleman's sweep. Yeah, Preacher, you were saying.
Preacher.
Go ahead, Preacher, you were saying something.
All right, it looks like him think. Oh, you're good again, Preacher.
Preacher,
and there you go. I'll talk it out until
there is a view, right? There's a view, and I think
we're hearing a Preacher, but you're coming in spurts.
There's a view, and I think it was exposed earlier by the cop.
I think Preacher's internet is giving him a little problem. In and out. Right now he's kind of frozen.
All right, so here's my view. Here's my view on the Memphis Grizzlies. I don't have the same view y'all have. I think that it was a gut punch, but unlike the Nets, who I feel when they gave up a 17-point lead and there was a lot of mental weakness and things of that nature, and I think it's harder for the Nets, right? I think for the Minnesota Timberwolves, it's a little bit different for me because I believe that they're a young team, and you know what? Sometimes this is their first go at it in the fire. This is a learning experience for them because they were never going to win a championship, you know. So for me, this is a learning experience for the Timberwolves. So it's just like, you know, iron sharp iron. You know what I say? So or mental. So to me, that's kind of what it is. I have to give a ton of credit though, to the Memphis Grizzlies, and I saw it last year in the playoffs and in the play-in with the Memphis Grizzlies with the Warriors that they got some dogs over there in Memphis. No lie, they got some serious dogs. Desmond Bain, Dylan Brooks, yeah, they for real. They do want the smoke. We'll see what happens.
Clark Williams.
Yeah, man. So you have to give them a ton of credit. Back to the coaching for 1 second. There's absolute madness that you give up a 21-0 run and you don't call a timeout in the fourth quarter. That's probably in the history of the NBA playoffs. That's probably never happened. You know what I'm saying? And then bring it to Cat now. Preacher and I would talk, and I would say that Karl Anthony Towns is weak, right? When I say that, I'm not necessarily talking about his game. What I'm talking about is at certain decision making. You know, all of these charges, stupid fouls.
You're talking about mentally.
Exactly. When the game is on the line, I see Pat Beverly wave off Karl Anthony Towns, and they're down by 5 with like a minute or 2 left. And Karl, and he wave, he's like, yo, no, give me a pick. And then he did the trash, got blocked. If you're Karl Anthony Towns, I'm not saying on the spot, but that cannot happen. The ball needs to go to Karl Anthony Towns in the post. Why? Because that's where he has the most impact. And that is where Memphis, if you notice, Memphis is double teaming Karl Anthony Towns in the post. They don't really have an answer for Karl Anthony Towns in the post, you know. So part of that is coaching, and a part of that is Karl Anthony Towns. Karl Anthony Towns I have to realize a lot of basketball, especially in the playoffs, comes down to IQ, you know, where you get the ball and how you get the ball. And he has to, but as I said, some of it is learning experience. But for me, Carl Anthony Towns just has to get back to being more aggressive, right? And I think that's it for Minnesota. I think that it's a good series. I think it'll be a long series. I actually think this is going to go to 7. And I think Minnesota is going to take it in 7.
There's a little arrogance that Minnesota and 7 said G-Star. But there's a little arrogance that exists for me that the Memphis Grizzlies has, and arrogance. It's based on it builds for me. That is a little arrogance that builds confidence. All right, so for me, I can't see them losing another game in the series. When it started, I had picked Memphis. I had picked them probably in 5 or 6 games. The last game won for me because I think they were rusty. They were an inexperienced, a young team who is inexperienced, sitting out 5 or 6 days, coming to play a team that was just coming off the high of winning a playing game. I think that is where they lost the plot in game 1. They have this tendency or this ability to be able to turn it on when they want, both on the offensive and defensive end. I am excited by the prospect of a series with this team and Golden State in the next round. So for me, this is it for Minnesota. I think they are done. Preacher, you wanted to chime in. Now we'll go for another minute or 2, and then we'll probably take one call at the end, and then wrap up the podcast. You were saying something.
Yeah, I was making the point that with Karl Anthony Towns is a matter of emotional intelligence. It's really not a matter of being soft. I think if you watch him, he tends to get very emotive whenever a call goes against him or whenever things don't necessarily go his way. Right? Now, who is the emotional leader on that team? Pat Beverly. Pat Beverly is high octane. Pat Beverly doesn't know how to be even keeled. You need a veteran on that team who is an even keeled, level-headed person who can be a good enough mentor to guys like Karl Anthony Towns and the other player that
Edwards.
And those players. You can't have Pat Beverly leading this young group of guys. Pat Beverly is just erratic, right? He gives you stuff physically, but emotionally and mentally, he's not going to be the guy to take this team to the next level. So I think that's part of Cat's problem. He needs a mentor who can help him to stay balanced and even keel. And ditto to what G-Star said, it's really about IQ, getting the ball in the right spots, doing what you can do, getting the damage done until they find a solution for it.
Gentlemen, we're going to wrap up the stream in a little while from now, but we want to take a call or 2 for the persons in the stream. We'll ask you again, like the video. Gunners Boss, I know you're probably itching to say something. All right, you can call in on 873-373-6449. That's 876-373-6449. And feel free to call in and in another minute or 2 and give us your comments, your opinions, and the playoffs and how you see it going. Gentlemen, while we're here, any revision to how you see the NBA finals? Who do you have in the finals, Preacher? I know, Preacher, you had the Clippers winning the whole thing. Now that the Clippers, now we can discuss that another day. But now that the Clippers are out, give me a revised look for the NBA final.
Well, I got the Golden State Warriors coming out of the West. Definitely looking very hard to beat. And coming out of the East, I think I'm gonna roll with the Philadelphia 76ers. I mean, it's difficult for me to pick against Brooklyn because I had them going to the finals, but I don't think they can overcome Steve Nash. God no. So Sixers versus
Warriors. So would that mean that the Philadelphia 76ers won that trade then, if that's the case?
Well, you would be able to say they won the trade. The truth is, James Harden hasn't really been playing that well. Kem Samenon really need to. Well, he will need to against Miami. And if he comes up big against Miami, then they won the trade.
I agree with your preach. And I agree every comment you just made a while ago, except for picking Sixers in the front. Okay, I don't see Sixers getting past mine, but like you, I agree that if James Harden comes up big, then we can start. And I would say that for the short term, you would say they win the trade. But because I think next year, Ben Simmons works his way into the Brooklyn lineup, and Brooklyn run the table next year in the East. G-Star, now that your Brooklyn team is in some amount of trouble, are you revising your finals?
No. I'm not happy enough for the wagon. No.
You're still on the wagon. Gentlemen, in light, we open the line. We haven't heard any calls coming in. We are an hour and 45 minutes into the stream. We want to say thanks for everybody who was in the stream. Demo, Dre, who called in. Give thanks. Pagan 180, Gunners Boss, Outer East. For everybody else who joined us in the stream. Issa Allen. I want to give thanks, Issa, for calling in also. For everybody who was with us in the stream earlier, I want to give thanks to Preacher. I want to thank you, G-Star, Chris Lynch, who was here with us earlier, and Kems. Gentlemen, we'll do this again soon. Hopefully, we'll be here on Saturday. No, not tomorrow, Saturday. We'll be here on Monday to review the games that would have been played tonight and over the weekend. All right. Until then, I want to say, and before I go, I want to say, encourage everybody who is in the stream now and everybody who will watch later, like the video, drop a comment for sure, share the stream with others, let the family grow. All right, and for who haven't subscribed to the channel just yet, subscribe to I Am Sure. This is where you get credible analysis on sports like we just had now with people like Preacher and G-Star and Kems. You get this nowhere.
Hopefully it's 2-2. Next Boston. Hopefully.
But by that time. This kind of analysis, people, you get nowhere else. Especially nowhere else on a Jamaican podcast. You know, I've listened to others and it's a lot of hair diddle and a lot of nursery rhymes. This is where you get the most credible and authentic sports analysis on I Am Sure Sports. All right, for I Am Sure Sports, I'm Pioneer. I will see you soon. All right, as I said, share the stream and like the video. Have yourself a good afternoon.